Next on the news, it was an Easter Sunday spent cleaning up from a disaster. Instead of celebrating Christ's resurrection, St. Edmund Church was recovering from a fire.
Months after fire damaged a Breezy Point church, they're trying to rebuild from the ashes. I'm Katie Vasquez, and I'll have that story coming up.
Pope Leo XIV is continuing his peace efforts between Israel and Gaza. This as Catholic leaders on the Strip are vowing to stay and help the displaced. Plus, St. Peter's Square is getting ready for church history this weekend, the canonization of Blessed Carlo Acutis. The Italian teen has touched the hearts of faithful around the world, even inspiring pilgrimages to his tomb in Assisi.
It's
very impactful to stop in front of his body, but especially to reflect on his life.
I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. It was a dark Easter Sunday at St. Edmund Church, a 3-alarm fire destroying the Breezy Point parish the day before. But close to 6 months since the destruction, the Queen's Church and its community are getting a new life. They are rebuilding from the ashes. St. Edmund's reconstruction, recreating some of the spiritual home parishioners have come to know for nearly a century with an updated vision. Katie Vasquez gives us a walkthrough.
Green gates surround St. Edmund Church in Breezy Point.
This is where the initial fire started.
After flames tore through the Queen's Church the day before Easter Sunday.
4 stained glass windows have to be repaired.
Pastor Father Michael Gelfand was preparing his homily for the evening when he heard fire trucks.
I got in my car, I raced down here, and no sooner did you get a few blocks away, you could just see the smoke.
Of course.
Longtime parishioner Joseph Izzo lives across the street from the church and says the loss was heartbreaking.
It was a very, very sad day, and obviously one that touched the heart of the community deeply.
This is where the altar was, right here.
The parish has been hard at work to rebuild.
They've never seen a church construction project go as fast as we are moving, because I'm a very impatient person.
New beams and a roof were put on to protect it from the elements. But there's still a lot of work ahead on the inside.
There is nothing left to the inside of the building, to the school. There's nothing. Electric wires, switches, outlets, heating, air conditioning, light fixtures, flooring, walls.
The project is partially covered by insurance, but it comes with a high price tag.
We have it at about $3.3 million. We've already spent almost $1 million.
Joseph is looking forward to returning to the pews as it's left a deep hole for parishioners.
The church is the heart of the community, the place where we gather, and so it's tough.
And while it won't be exactly the same, the church is trying to maintain the same character it's had for nearly a century.
It's going to look like a beach church. A few changes to the interior that I think will enhance our worship, but other than that, it's pretty much going to be the same footprint.
Starting Monday, crews will be working a full week to get the church back to its glory. In Breezy Point, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
If you'd like to help, you can donate by heading to Blessed Trinity's website at btparish.org and scrolling down to the icon that says Donate to Rebuild St. Edmund Church. Turning now to peace efforts in the Holy Land. Pope Leo XIV held his first private meeting with the President of Israel on Thursday. According to the Vatican, the cordial meeting between the pontiff and President Isaac Herzog focused on the need for peace and stability in the region and the idea of a two-state solution. A day before the meeting, Palestine's envoy to the Holy See released a statement on the talks, expressing his hope that the meeting would advance peace efforts in Gaza. Leaders of the only Catholic church on the Strip have decided they are going to stay in Gaza. The emergency committee at Holy Family Parish announcing Friday they will continue to serve the displaced residents who have taken shelter there, despite evacuation orders and escalating military operations in nearby areas. Father Gabriel Romanelli, Holy Family's pastor, says they have a moral obligation to care for the hundreds of civilians who have depended on the church for survival, adding that given the widespread malnutrition malnutrition and lack of medical care outside the church walls, forcing the displaced out on the streets, would be catastrophic. In a social media age, you might call him Christ's top follower. Carlo Acutis grew up during the explosion of the internet.
Through the computer, Carlo did so many evangelization.
Now he's a viral sensation, and this weekend he will become the church's first millennial saint. Right now on Currents News, we count down to canonization. Thousands are expected to be in St. Peter's Square this weekend, not only because Carlo's canonization is an historical event, but because the young teen from Milan has touched the hearts of faithful from all over the world, especially in Assisi, where the church that houses his remains has become a popular pilgrimage site. The city of Assisi is seeing a boost in tourism, nearly doubling the amount of visitors in just 1 year, from 550,000 in 2023 to nearly 1 million in 2024. And it's all thanks to Blessed Carlo Acutis.
It does me a lot of good as well, to me, Marco, to see so many people who come, let's say, with problems and wounds, and here they find the strength to carry on, with the ability to face life's difficulties with their heads held high. This impresses me a lot and fills me with joy.
The tomb of the soon-to-be saint is located inside this sanctuary where the faithful line up to visit. Many say they feel a strong connection to the future first millennial saint because they're either the same age he was when he died or from the same generation.
I'm the same age as Carlo Acutis, so for me it's very impactful to stop in front of his body, but especially to reflect on his life, because in just a few short years, he managed to accomplish what many can't do in an entire lifetime. He didn't waste a single minute of his time, but dedicated it all to the Lord.
That's what strikes everyone, how a boy of just 15 years could have such a profound impact in such a short period of time.
A saint is something wonderful, especially because he's a boy, a young person, and you don't expect that. Well, sometimes what adults fail to do, he actually did.
Despite Assisi being a place already associated with two other saints, St. Francis and St. Clare, the focus now lies mostly with Carlo, and his canonization will undoubtedly continue to boost the number of visitors to the city. Right now, the Vatican is preparing St. Peter's for his canonization. The faces of the two young men who will be made saints this weekend, Blesseds Carlo Acutis and Pier Giorgio Frassati, are currently being displayed on tapestries on the basilica's facade. Security personnel have also set up barriers to define areas prepared to handle the large number of faithful expected to attend. But you can watch the canonization right from your living room. Just tune in this Sunday, September 7th at 7:30 p.m. right here on Net TV. And right before that, learn more about the Catholic Church's first millennial saint with a Currents News special. We are celebrating the life and legacy of God's influencer, Blessed Carlo Acutis, on that same Sunday, September 7th at our usual time, 7 p.m. And finally tonight, a call to Catholics throughout the Diocese of Brooklyn. Bishop Robert Brennan is counting on you to take part in a day of prayer and fasting for peace. The Brooklyn Shepherd's sending out this message to pastors and administrators throughout the diocese, calling on them to unite their flocks in prayer and penance for those suffering from conflicts around the world on Monday, September 15th, the Feast of Our Lady of Sorrows. Bishop Brennan points out these prayers are especially needed in this diocese, as many parishioners come from lands like Ukraine and Gaza and have families suffering there, and because of daily reports of violence in New York City. That is this Currents News update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time. Social media age, you might call him Christ's top follower. Carlo Acutis grew up during the explosion of the internet, bringing God to the World Wide Web.
Through the computer, Carlo did so many evangelization.
Now he's a viral sensation. Kids all over the world sharing and reposting his story. And it's one that could break the internet. This teenager will be the Catholic Church's first millennial saint. A saint in sneakers.
He was around our age, so we can look up to him and try to do things that he did.
But before his canonization goes live, we're taking a look back at his life, the inspo behind an entire generation of young believers.
If I follow down the same path that he went down, I could become a saint.
His growing reach from Brooklyn and Queens to all over the world. The life and legacy of God's influencer, Blessed Carlo Acutis. Tune in on Sunday, September 7th on Currents News.